Next up, why your emails aren't raising more and what high-performing nonprofits do differently. Hi, Christina.
Hi, hi.
Uh, we are happy to have you here. So this is Christina Tzavaras Edwards, who is CEO of Splendid Consulting. And I was just learning more about your organization. She's actually the founder as well, creator of the Social Street team at Method. She's also the host of the Purpose and Profit Club podcasts. Love a good podcast. She's trained over 10,000 nonprofit professionals, and so she has a wealth of knowledge in this sector. And so I'm just thrilled to have you here to help us just increase our email impact, right? It's so crucial since I think that's probably like the number one mode of communication between fundraisers and their donors. So welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for the warm welcome. Yeah, I was just thinking about this, just getting excited for today. And I mean this genuinely, email can change your life. Email can change your organization's life. It can change your personal life as a staffer in an organization because it's so scalable because email can work in your sleep. So email can multiply you. So I'm going to take a quick moment, share my screen. I would love for everyone just to if you were on the last one, just take a big stretch break, just stand up, shake it out, go fill up your tea or your coffee because I am we're going to move fast. We're going to move. I'm so excited for today. So while you're doing that, introduce yourself in the chat. Tell me how you feel about email. Love it, hate it, interested in it. How are we feeling about email? Okay. Everyone can see my screen. If you can see my slides, just give me like a yes in the chat, just so I know that you can see everything. Great. Okay, perfect. Perfect, perfect. Okay, I love it. We're getting all of the gamut of email. So today we're going to talk about why your emails aren't raising more and what high-performing nonprofits are doing differently. Okay. Thank you, Jenna, for the warm welcome. I'm Christina Tzavaras Edwards, the founder of Splendid Consulting. I developed a course called Easy Emails for Impact. So I'm going to be bringing a lot of the teachings from that course into our teaching today. Okay. It. Okay, this cracks me up. Like email, can see your slides, hate spam. Great. We're not doing any spam emails today, so you're in the right place. So our agenda and what we're going to cover today is the reason why your emails aren't converting, formulaic news to shifting to a revenue first model and moving from passive updates to active campaigns. This will get you from low ROI to consistent funding because if you feel like I'm sending the emails, but they're not bringing really in donations, it's kind of a trickle, then this is for you. You're in the right place. Okay. So before I go farther, and we will have a slide at the end as well, I do have a free gift because the number one hurdle you're going to have is getting your emails opened, right? Like that's step one is let's get your emails opened. And you can't get an email opened without a juicy subject line. So I have a free gift for you, the 10 winning subject lines and 10 to never ever use again. So you're going to see some in there that are like, ooh, I think we've sent those. So you're going to see some that you should just sunset forever. So you can grab that free tool. If you want it, you go to splendidcourses.com/gift. You can also grab it there. All right. So let's make sure you're in the right room. Okay. You're in the right room. If you have a donor list, you have a subscriber list, but it's not bringing in that consistent funding. You feel like, gosh, no one really reads our emails. Like, is anyone out there? Like you're spending time writing the content, you're pushing it out and it's going out into the void. If that's you, give me like a yes or a one in the chat. Okay. And you're tired of social media chasing, like you're spending all this time trying to create content on social media that like one follower, your aunt and your cousin see and comment on. Yes. Okay. And you'd rather have something consistent. Okay. Yes. I'm seeing lots of yeses. Okay. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay. So the results that you're after. One, email that's consistent, simple, and profitable. Something that doesn't feel complex because email shouldn't be complex. Okay, you don't need to be a designer to create and draft and send highly converting, highly profitable emails. Donors who feel connected and ready to give. One of my favorite things about email is it helps your donors experience your organization and to keep it top of mind without you having to like pick up the phone, without you having to send text messages, without you having to go on donor meetings. Suddenly your organization is top of mind because of the emails that you send. Okay. A system that works without adding more to your plate. Give me like a yes if you're like, yes, I don't want more to do. This is how we create an email strategy that becomes a fundraising engine. Okay, good. I'm seeing lots of yeses in the chat. So I'm Christina. I'm the founder of Splendid Consulting. I'm a nonprofit growth strategist. You're going to hear me like dip my toes into both lanes. We're going to talk about fundraising today, and we're going to talk about marketing today because the two go hand in hand. They're peanut butter and jelly, especially when it comes to email. I don't want you sending out emails that are great, that have no conversion point, that don't help you sell more tickets, that don't help you raise more money, that don't get you more recurring givers. They all need to have a point, right? And so that's why we really weave in marketing and fundraising today. And you're going to hear about that in our strategy. Okay. I'm the founder of Splendid Consulting and course creator. Emails, Easy Emails for Impact is my course. So we're going to be pulling from that content today. I've helped nonprofits raise 5 and 6 figures with email only. Yes. So if you're a small organization, give me a 1 in the chat. And if you're a larger organization, give me a 2 in the chat, just so I can get a sense of where you are. And I know that those are like very subjective terms. If you have over 10,000 email subscribers, give me a 2 in the chat. If you have less than 10,000, give me a 1 in the chat. The reason why I'm asking those questions is because even if you have a small list, you can make a ton of money through email. You can convert very, very well. And if you have a large list, okay, I see some 2s in the chat. We can have some fun. If you have a large list, you are sitting on an untapped gold mine. So while you're buying all these like donor acquisition lists and you're doing all of this crazy stuff trying to bring in larger gifts, it's right here. The call's coming from inside the house, right? We just have to tap into your existing pipeline of donors and subscribers. Okay, good. So this is what your email should be creating. Our client made the shift we teach, and here's what happened. They went on to say yesterday's email earned 3 online gifts, one from a first-time donor who's only on our email list, one from a first-time donor we've solicited for 4 years. This was what we call a lurker, right? They had been in their ecosystem for 4 years. It took the change using this method for them to go donate. I want to help. One from a 2-time donor whose last gift was 3 years ago. What do we call that? That's a lapsed donor. We love re-engaging lapsed donors. If you love it as much as I do, give me a 1 in the chat, right? So this is what you can do with email. Super, super scalable. What did this require? No phone calls, no one-to-one anything. Yeah. Awesome. So the big problem that I'm seeing is it's not your list size, and it's not even your open rate. Open rates matter, but that's not your biggest problem. It's this news first email strategy that is rampant in the nonprofit sector. It's not nearly as rampant in any other sector, but the nonprofit sector. Okay, so let's dig into what is the news first trap. The news first trap is this. It sounds like your emails sound like, here's what we've been up to. Our latest newsletter, new program update, meet our board chair. Those are good intentions, but low revenue generating emails. Okay. This is the nonprofit version of like, hey, just checking in and dating, right? It's like polite, fine, but no one's falling in love with you over it. If you feel guilty of this, that's okay. I would love to hear in the chat if you're like, yeah, we do programmatic updates. We do quarterly updates. Now is your invitation. Yeah, totally fine. You're not in trouble. Now is your invitation to change. The reason why you're guilty of doing this is because this is what we've all been taught in the nonprofit sector, right? This is the report back. This is just report back, program update. And it's just this long form email newsletter that no one is excited to write and no one's excited to read, right? And so I really want to invite you to do something different today, okay? So here's why the news first trap fails. It's usually too long, too passive, and too boring. It centers the organization, not the donor or the people you serve. It creates passive readers, not active givers. It lowers urgency and momentum. Okay, are you seeing that in your emails? Do you see? I would love to also hear, like, how often are you sending emails? Are you sending emails when I can? Are you sending emails quarterly, monthly, bi-monthly? What's your current cadence, right? Okay. let's see. I see monthly. Okay, sometimes when we see monthly or quarterly emails, those emails are super long, right? Because it's been a while since you wrote an email. And so those are super long. And then we're back here. We're in this news first loop again that is really centering the organization, that is really too long and too passive and too boring. Yeah. So here's how it shows up. Inconsistent sending, which is you only write when you have news. Okay. Who feels guilty of this? Where you're like, I don't really actually have anything to write, so I don't write the emails, right? Unless we have like an event that I'm, posting about or something like that, or a specific fundraiser, Hello Giving Tuesday. It's like not a lot to write about. Yeah. Transactional asks, right? Which is sounds like you only write when you need something, right? This is what it's like to be a subscriber on your email list. Like, gosh, they only call when they need something. They only call when they got that donor match, right? Versus this other way, which we're going to talk about. So we see low open and low click-through rates. We see little to no donations from email. Okay, so that's what it looks like when you have that news first strategy. Now, the campaign-based impact first strategy is your solution. Here's what it looks like. Focused content arcs, not one-offs. A fundraising email campaign is not one email. You guys know this, right? It is not one email. It is not Christina. We tried email fundraising. It didn't work for us. And then I ask you, what's your campaign look like? You're like, well, we sent 1 to 2 emails. That is not a campaign. Okay. It is a focused content arc. Donor-centered storytelling and timing, built-in momentum and urgency. The donor needs to know, why should I give today? Why can't I just give next week, next year, next month? Measurable, repeatable results. Okay. So let's look at kind of a before and after, or what it looks like. News first versus campaign based. News first is nonprofit centered updates. It's very us. We, like, here's what we are doing. Here's our programs, me kind of energy. Inconsistent sending. Your donors, your subscribers don't actually know when they're going to hear from you. It's very arbitrary, right? Low urgency. Until you need something, then it just suddenly like peaks up. Lapsed donors that never re-engage. If you're experiencing what's very common is that 8 out of 10 donors only give one time, you're stuck in news first. That's symptom of being in a news first strategy. Passive readers, they're not doing much. Versus campaign based. Personalized impact stories where the recipient feels like you wrote it for them. You wrote it for them. Subscribers are primed and clear when you're fundraising and when you're not. This is a huge one. I, as a subscriber, need to know, oh, they're fundraising. They're having a fundraiser today versus like program update, donate button. Like, I don't know if you're fundraising or sending me an update. You with me? Like, you kind of just mished it all together. More consistent revenue, not just that big spike year end. Your email list should be driving revenue 12 months out of the year. Now, it will have peaks and valleys, but it should be driving revenue 12 months out of the year. Less staff burnout because you're following a repeatable rhythm, not reactionary. Now we're going to do a little pop quiz. Who here has heard of the rule of 7? This is like a marketing rule. Anyone heard of the rule of 7? You're not in trouble if you haven't. Hey, Tracy, yes. We have a couple yeses. Awesome. Heard about it yesterday. Okay, perfect. So, yes, 7 times, Genesis. Yes. Okay, so here's the good news, bad news, right? The rule of 7 basically says that the prospect needs to see the marketing message 7 times before they buy. That was the old rule. That was like a very 2010 rule. Okay, here's the new rule of 7. We are distracted. What's happening? I'm on my phone. My kid walks in the room. Somebody's at the door. Oh, I got an email. Oh, a Slack message. Y'all, we need 17 touches. That is the latest data. People need 17 touches before taking action. And you may be thinking, this is the worst news ever. It's not the worst news ever because you could do this in a very scalable way with email. Okay. So you need to have your marketing message, right? Your nonprofit needs to be top of mind now more than ever. But if you're like most nonprofits and you're sending a handful of email updates a year, that's an indicator of why your revenue is lagging. High performing nonprofits are showing up weekly in inboxes and their lists are primed to give. Okay, how are we feeling about the rule of 17? I know, it's tough. But listen, bite size. Your emails do not have to be long form pieces anymore. They don't have to be these long form programmatic updates. Yeah. Okay, so here's what it'll fix when you shift into this. you'll stop overthinking of what to send. So instead of sending that long programmatic update, you're actually given the freedom to show up weekly with ease and more bite-sized pieces, more bite-sized stories. Donors give more and give again. This, we have a stat to back it up coming later. Email becomes your highest ROI digital platform, not social media. You with me? Social media is a great acquisition kind of awareness piece. Email is where the revenue happens, okay, when it comes to online. I see your question, Marianne. I'm going to make sure we get to it at the end if we don't already address it in the content. Campaigns raise more and more often, okay? So we're going to shift in, we're going to move to the 3 shifts that high performing nonprofits make to raise more through email. Okay, so you're going to find out why some organizations consistently raise at least 5K in every easy emails campaign while others struggle to get opens, clicks, and action takers. Okay, so let's move to strategy number 1. Strategy number 1 is all about frequency. Frequency builds readiness. You'll show up more to receive more. Why are you doing that? I just showed you the rule of 17 touches. Really just think about how 10 and 20 years ago, how less distracted we are. We now watch TV while on your phone. Like if you're kind of guilty of that, like me, like you put on a movie on a Saturday night and your phone is also in your hand, like just give me a 1 in the chat if you've done that before. Like we are a distracted people. Our habits have changed. So we need to rise to the change of habits because donors are consumers and consumers are donors. Okay, good. I'm in good company. I know it's not a good habit, but this is the world we live in, right? We got to put the phone in the other room. Familiarity creates trust. You're showing up in that inbox, creating that familiarity. Trust drives giving. That consistent contact makes your list primed and responsive. You with me? Most nonprofits are not pitching or pitching before their audience is primed. And that's why their email campaigns aren't converting. Okay. So priming looks like you're not just a donor, you're a driver of change. This is the moment that matters. Let's move. So organizations that emailed at least weekly saw higher donor retention rates and more repeat gifts than those who emailed monthly or less. This is from Network for Good. There's many, many stats about this. This is that top of mind. This is that trust. This is that credibility. Okay. Oh my gosh, I see the chat talking about unsubscribes. We're totally going to get there. So I want to share with you a case study. And this is one of my favorite quotes that one of my clients said. She said, after going through this process, and she just said it like off the cuff, like you would say like, oh, my favorite color is blue. She said, when I send emails, we make money. When I send emails, we make money. And she knew it. She has the stats to back it up. This is a small shop ED. She did an email only campaign. In 7 days, she brought in 53 new recurring givers. Tell me in the chat, how would that feel? How would that feel if you ran a 7-day email only campaign, no social media, no phone calls, no text messages, no begging your board to help, nothing, no in-person event, no whatever. This is what's possible for you. She brought in $8,400 of recurring revenue. That's what you can do with email. Like it can change your life. Yes, the chat is blowing up. Everybody would feel awesome. I love her. She is not a unicorn, right? This is possible for any organization of any size. And she proves it because she's a small shop org. The rule of 17, let's go back to it. This is a client that said, in the spirit of keeping on, we got 3 gifts yesterday directly tied to email that went out. First time we've ever had such obvious direct connection. The rule of 7, parentheses, 17 works. This particular client, we had been working with them on increasing the frequency, but also changing their story because this is really, really important. It's not just, well, let me just pepper people with more emails, right? It's the story too. It's the story too. Now, I'm going to address what I already see happening in the chat, which is the fear. The fear is real. If I email more, people will unsubscribe. If you're feeling that fear, give me a yes. You're like, oh my God, weekly. Here's what I want to say. Number 1, you don't go from quarterly to weekly. Don't do that. That's like the person that doesn't run and then is like, I'm signing up for a marathon and running it tomorrow, right? We want to do things incrementally, right? Okay, so the reality is, number 1, make peace with unsubscribes. They are not a tragedy. They are a favor. They are cleaning your list so you can focus on engaged supporters. The real danger is going silent and hoping people remember you, okay? Proof, Average unsubscribes are like 0.07% for nonprofits, even 0.1%. This is very, very few. Now, I want you to imagine Sephora, the brand, the beauty brand, Sephora, right? They send emails daily sometimes, and people still race to buy a $24 lip gloss. They are not sitting around going, "Ugh, somebody might get annoyed," right? They know if we land in your inbox, if we don't land in your inbox, somebody else is, right? For-profit brands know this very, very well. They are not as precious as we are about unsubscribes, right? The other thing that helps me is I always imagine this stadium, okay? Anyone ever been to, oh, I'm in Atlanta. I went to a Hawks game last season, and I was in this Hawks game, and it was so fun, and I was so excited to go. And I was like, where is everybody? It was like so many empty seats. And it was all these probably season ticket holders that just didn't come. That just didn't come. Right? I don't want to be so precious about hanging on to the people on my list who aren't coming, who aren't opening my emails, who are not there clicking the emails, who aren't even thought about my organization in months or years, right? So the unsubscribes aren't bad. I would rather have a cozier full house of people who are super engaged than a big stadium filled with empty seats. You with me? Give me a one in the chat if you're like, okay, maybe. Okay, maybe. Okay. Yes. Okay. And I'm not minimizing that it's not hard. Unsubscribes don't feel good, but it is the price of growth. It is the price of growing your nonprofit from where it is today to somewhere else. The last thing I actually want to say about that is unsubscribes or having people who just don't interact with your content, who don't give, who don't open, who don't engage, costs you money. If you have more than 1,000 subscribers on almost any email marketing tool, it's costing you money for them to just sit there in the empty seat. You with me? Okay, so this is big one. This is strategy number 2. Personal voice builds trust. Write like a human, raise like a pro. I would love for you to take a post-it note and say, write like a human, write like a human. This is the big one that's also rampant in our sector, okay? The sterile voice is a killer. The pursuit of the polished is keeping trust low. It sounds to me like the press release voice, right? It's very formal. It's lacking that emotion. It's very just like, it's just very sterile, right? I also see that the nonprofit ominous, like who here is sending emails from the ominous brand? Like the email is from the nonprofit organization and not the people behind the organization. So if you're sending it just from the brand, give me a yes in the chat. Because personal leads to that relatability, and that relatability is reply worthy. You want replies. Replies are the gold standard hallmark of engagement. This is a blue ocean opportunity. And here's what I mean. Blue ocean opportunity is kind of a marketing term of like a non-saturated market. So what's a saturated market right now that I can think of? Candles, right? If I was like, I'm going to make a candle, you'd be like, Christina, there's like 1 million candle makers. Like, how is yours new and different, right? You with me? This is a blue ocean opportunity in the sense that very few nonprofits are actually using a personal voice, are actually talking in email like they would in a conversation, human to human. So if you do this, you will stand out in the best way possible. Let's do a little preference. If you got both of these emails, which email would you open? Email A, the subject line is August newsletter. The preview text says contents, capital campaign update, and then it gets cut off. Email B says correction, exclamation point with a little eyeball emoji. He's in a weird mood. Then the preview text says predict and decipher your boss, and then it kind of cuts off. Yeah, like we would all open, hopefully. No one's excited about A, August newsletter, right? No one's excited about that. We're all going to open B, number 1, because it says correction. What does that say? Instantly, someone made a mistake. They're a human. I'm interested. I'm like leaned in. What was the mistake, right? What was the mistake? So that's really, really important. We've all done this, or even just he's in a weird mood, very curiosity inducing. And yet most nonprofits are stuck in A land, right? And so here's the invitation to dip your toe over to B land. You with me? So here is a case study of a client. This was a small team that I work with, and we really transformed their email. And this is one of my favorite outputs of email. So this particular client was a 2-person team. They re-engage their lapsed donors, but using email, they changed the frequency, and most importantly, they changed the type of content they were sharing on email, and it resulted in booking major donor meetings. One campaign raising $10,000 going on to raise 5 and 6 figures from email. How did they do this? They actually were sending out their regular updates to everyone, but major donors were responding saying, hey, can we have coffee? Hey, we need to meet. It's been a while. Oh my gosh, loved hearing this. Let's talk. Are your major donors replying to your emails? Tell me in the chat. They should be. This could be a pipeline for you, right? It doesn't always have to be a one-way relationship, right? It doesn't have to be you calling the donor. Yeah, this is exactly what should happen. Not only that, it unlocked something in her, which was so fun, where she was like, I was reminded of how much I love to write. Like, it unlocked that part of her, giving herself permission to write more personally, write more from the heart, write more about her why and her connection to the organization. Your emails should be doing this. They should be a regular pipeline for this. Okay. Okay. So maybe the fear is, yeah, but Christina, if I sound too casual, too personal, it will look unprofessional. Who here has that fear? Like, I don't want to just be too off the cuff. Yeah. The reality is professional is a distance maker, right? Donors don't need corporate, they need a human. Your authentic voice is the fastest route to trust, and trust is what opens checkbooks. Okay. Personalized human sounding emails have a 260% higher ROI than generic formal ones. I want to receive your email and know it could only be from you and your organization. So, for example, if you serve the homeless population, I need to make sure when I read that email, it could only be from you. We could just interchange a logo and any organization anywhere across the country could have sent that, right? Now I want you to think about Oprah. Oprah didn't build a $1 billion brand sounding like a grant report. She cried on camera. She laughed out loud. She told intimate personal stories and people felt like they knew her, right? Your email can do this and should do this. It's like a conversation people want to keep having. We all, I don't know if you grew up with Oprah like I did, like we all, she was like like, yes, where you have those Me Too moments, right? You can create those with email. Yeah. So let's dig into strategy number 3. Strategy number 3 is about conversion campaigns driving revenue. So we teach you how to prime and prep your audience with a fundraising system. I teach a 3-phase fundraising system so that your audience knows when you're fundraising and when you're not fundraising. Okay. And so if you're only sending one email, hoping that it brings in thousands, this is your problem. Okay. So no more one-off emails. Instead, you can do this for short or long fundraisers or membership drives. So they don't always have to click to like a donate button, right? It can be any action you want people to take. Monthly giving, membership drives, ticket sales, emails are great for that. But when you layer in a 3-phase system, this is what changes everything. And when I use the word conversion, I mean, they go from not taking action to taking action. So you have the campaigns that are built on clarity and consistency. Okay. So I want you to think about a yard sale, right? Imagine you're sending one lonely email and hoping that it brings in thousands, right? So if I put up one yard sale saying, I'm having a yard sale this weekend, 3 miles from my house, and just hoping somebody finds me. That's what we're doing with email. It's just like, let me just do this one-off thing and hope that I hit my goals. No, we need to create an actual body of work, an actual campaign that drives action takers. You with me? Yeah. So here's what happens when you start writing emails and using conversion campaigns. Okay. So this was a CEO of an established organization, but they were really doing those kind of one-off yard sale like emails. Okay. So she had a large list. She had a list over 10,000, but she was very, very worried about the unsubscribes, and specifically too of like when you have an organization that is a little more established, a little more seasoned, and they have this cadence, this frequency this is what we've always been doing, right? It can feel very hard to change the cadence and frequency, but staying in the existing cadence was costing them money every single month, period, full stop. So she shifted from those inconsistent every once in a while campaigns to consistent intentional campaigns using the three-phase system to warm up donors. And the most beautiful thing happened. Of course, she was worried about unsubscribes, but it didn't happen. Not only did her unsubscribes, not even, it was like a blip on the radar, her audience got activated, her open rates grew. They went from 40 to 60%. What? So she sent more emails and her open rates grew, not diminished, grew. Sometimes we go to bat for the worst possible scenario that we miss that the best possible scenario could happen. So ultimately, what did that mean? Her next campaign, Giving Tuesday, she doubled her Giving Tuesday goal very, very quickly, raised $20,000 in one online campaign. Okay. That's what's possible. You have to be willing to stop doing what you're doing over here that's comfortable and cozy and rinse and repeat and start doing something different if you want a different result. You with me? Give me a yes in the chat if you're like, okay, yes. Yeah. Okay, Doug's with me. Good. Now, the fear here is if I run too many campaigns, donors will get tired of giving. Who here has that fear, right? The reality is donors don't get fatigued by campaigns with a clear why now. They get fatigued by random asks with no urgency or follow through. There is a difference. There is a difference between running a campaign that has a clear start and stop date that is built using this three-phase system versus just peppered random asks when we need it, and then probably a huge ask at the end of the year. There's a total difference there. Multi-email campaigns see up to 320% more revenue than one-off email blasts. Okay. I want you to think about Apple. Apple launches aren't one email. They are full campaigns, previews, teasers, launch day, follow-ups. Customers don't get fatigued. They get excited. They line up around the block. Some of them are crazy enough to sleep outside of the Apple store. So they are first in when the product drops. More is more. More is not less. More is not annoying people. More is not, bothering people. More is more. You with me? Yeah. So email is still the #1 digital fundraising channel, and here's why it wins. Hopefully, I've made a case for that today. It is low cost, right? It's just your email marketing tool you need to pay for. Direct access. This is your owned asset. You do not own your Instagram followers, your Facebook fans, your TikTok people. They own that. Email is an asset, is a database of contacts. It is yours. It is a fast turnaround. It's easy to systematize and scale up and automate. We love automated emails. You have high control over timing and content. I have a client, we just coached her. She is mid-campaign. We were able to make some quick moves with email and turn around a campaign that wasn't going how she anticipated, where it was like, cool, let's just inject this email right here and right here. Let's slightly shift the messaging of this one, change out the subject line. She has right-sided her campaign in the middle of it. You can't do that at a gala, right? That took 9 months to plan. You can't do that. So it is your most reliable employee. It shows up on time, it does the work, and it doesn't care what the algorithms are up to. So let's go over our recap here. 1, moving from the news first, because that trains people not to give. Instead, going to campaign based. Those build trust and readiness. It's not just about sending more emails. I hope I've made that really clear. I'm not saying just send more programmatic updates. No, right? We need smarter conversion campaigns that are less sterile, more personalized, with more reasons to give. And you can ask yourself before sending your emails, does this center the donor's impact or just our update or need? I've seen a lot of emails that have the energy and sometimes the language of like, we need, right? We need energy. No. Is it part of a larger campaign arc or is it a one-off ask? You also want to check that. You can write that down. Does it build momentum towards a clear ask or am I forcing the pitch? Am I just like trying to hammer it through, right? Will it move the reader closer to giving today or will it just keep them informed? Okay. Have I made a case that sending more emails leads to more giving, not less? Are you at least open to moving your frequency, even if you don't move your baseline communication frequency? Are you open to moving how many emails you send in a fundraising campaign? That would be your first step. So maybe you're like, you know what? Our baseline is monthly. We're going to, but we normally only send 1 or 2 emails when we're fundraising. We're going to send more. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Yes, awesome. Great. Going from biweekly from monthly at least. Okay, good. What's one change you're ready to make with emails? Is it conversion campaigns? Is it the who's writing the emails? Is it more personalized, less sterile? Is it frequency, how often you're sending? Tell me that one change you're ready to make. More personalized, automated, shorter. Yeah, little bite-sized pieces, very snackable. Good. Yes. More donor centric. Good. More often, send more. Okay, awesome. So you can get support tools and exact method to increase your impact for good. If you want to reach out to me, I'm happy to give you a special invite and a special discount to join Easy Emails for Impact. I left time on purpose because anytime I host webinars like these, you guys have amazing questions. So I'm going to leave this slide up. The top QR code is the Purpose and Profit Club podcast. The bottom QR code is my free gift to you. 10 email subject lines to use and 10 to never ever use again, ditch for good. While we're here, let's go ahead and make sure we have, yeah, we've got a good 10 minutes for Q&A, so that's perfect. I would love to hear your questions. I'm going to go through the chat, but you can reach out to me at Splendid Consulting on Instagram or go find me on LinkedIn and just send me email and I will send you a special invite to join Easy Emails for Impact. Okay, let's see here. Okay, Marianne, I'm just going to take it from the bottom. Okay, Marianne says, I'm new to this. Can you provide a visual of a campaign using 17? How it looks on paper or a timeline? So here's what I want to say about the rule of 17. And maybe this is a great distinction. I'm glad you asked this question, Marianne, is it doesn't mean you send 17 emails. It just means we need to see the marketing message more than once. So for example, I might get some emails from your organization. I might also follow you on social media. Or maybe you sent me a mailer, right? So you're getting after me, or maybe I got an SMS text message. There's certain ways that that your organization can stay top of mind, right? All right. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, I'm going to go to, oh, I see the Q&A box. Okay, so David said, can weekly fundraising emails lead to more people to unsubscribe when not connected with events like elections? Is this culture specific? Talking about money is something people do not do in England. Yes. Okay. So I think you're talking about me talking about money. Okay. So here's what I say. In my trainings, you're going to hear me talk about money. Why am I talking about money when I'm talking about dollars and revenue and all of that? Because the people you serve, the communities you serve, you can serve and help more people or communities with money. Money helps solve the problem. Yeah. I hate wait lists. So if there's a wait list for your program or service, I hate it. And typically we can clear the wait list if we have more money coming in, right? It means we can hire more staff, more support people for programs. We can, if you give out grants to to people, you can give out more grants, right? And so that's why I'm talking about money so heavily in this specific training. You also said, can weekly fundraising emails? Oh, good. Can weekly fundraising emails lead to more people to unsubscribe? Yeah. If you send me 52 weeks of fundraising emails, you're probably going to see more people unsubscribe. So instead, I want you to think about your email marketing, all of your email content. When you're fundraising, it feels like a movie and not a one-off trailer. So like a movie has like an arc, right? Not just a little commercial. So that's how I teach email fundraising campaigns versus when you're not in a fundraising season or some other action taking season, then we go back to your regular cadence, which is more of that report back, sharing your impact, more personalized, those types of stories, right? So it's not 52 weeks of fundraising emails. Okay, it is like sometimes we're going to the movies, right? And there's going to be a body of work of content with a campaign arc that drives people to take action and donate. Okay, Maria says, should we segment our audiences when writing the emails? Definitely. So if you can't, don't worry about it, right? If you're more beginner, totally fine. Send emails to all the people. If you can, I would segment because you can look and see, oh, who are the folks that always give to that spring match appeal? Let me make sure I tap into them here. Or who are my Giving Tuesday folks? Let me make sure I tap into them here. So you can even filter out like who are the people who give under a certain amount. So absolutely, you can segment out and should segment out when you can. Yes. All right. How Oh, okay, good. How can you make email campaigns to recruit volunteers as well as money for an election campaign? You absolutely, it's still a conversion campaign. You're still getting, you still want people to take a specific action there, right? In that sense, it's volunteerism, right? It's will you volunteer? We've used email to survey. Email is a beautiful thing to survey, like who the heck's on my list? Which programs are they interested in? So you can use conversion campaigns for any action you want people to take. Okay. Sometimes it's hard to get updated stories at my org because we don't work directly with the population we serve. Amen. I hear that a lot. Yes. I'm new and they tend to reuse the same success stories for years. Any thoughts on how to get more content to have better communications? Yeah, this is actually a pretty common challenge when your organization maybe is international or something like that. What I want to say is don't go to the well and tell the same story again and again and again. It will just you'll just start to fall on deaf ears. Like no one's hearing it. So you do need, like, you're onto it, Andrea, where you're like, I need some fresh stories. So here's some ways that I would recommend getting fresh stories. One is you need a new way to source the stories from the people you serve. I just want to shout out MemoryFox is a great tool. So you may want to look into them. They're great for that, especially with like international organizations. So you want a new pipeline for that. Make it easy, make it simple for people to grab these stories, consent-based with photos, etc. Now, let's just say that's off the table. You're like, Christina, I just can't source any stories. Okay. I want your emails to start sharing your point of view. You tell the stories through your lens. Then I want you to have your programs person guest write a story. And your programs person is going to be like, I'm not a great writer. I don't want to write it. Great. They just give you the story in more talking points form, and you create it from there. I've done this thousands of times. Here's another idea. A board member. We had a board member. This is one of my clients who recently, he's like, I love him. He's super nerdy, super into financials, super into data. And there was data about their specific cause area. And I mean, this was like a PDF that was like 50 pages. I looked at it and I was like overwhelmed. He looked at it and he loved it. And I was like, hey, would you want to guest write for this organization? And so he did his point of view of this or of the data and how it affects the organization, ran it through the ED. ED loved it. This particular email raised thousands. It raised thousands. It was like his own guest spotlight. And then I was like, do you want to start doing this? He was like, sure. So there are ways we can get around anything with email. Okay. Let's see. I'm convinced to send more, but I don't know what to send. Great. Okay, Carrie, great. Do we keep telling our story in new ways in each email? No. I'm glad you asked this question. So what I want you to think about is some people like content pillars, and you could do that. Some people prefer points of view, and you can do that. What I don't want you to do, I sort of tell the global story of your organization again and again and again. Okay. I would rather you go and tell micro moments. Write that down. Micro moments. Like, I want to know about the call you had on Wednesday morning that like threw your day in a loop because you had to do something over here, right? And help, right? Like triage something, right? I want to know about the size 5 diapers at your diaper bank. The shelf is empty. Tell me about that. Why, like, tell me about why people are always donating size 1 and 2, right? Like, I want you to drill down into micro moments. Your micro moments can also be wins. They don't have to be negative, right? They don't have to be problems. So I want you to think about either content pillars or micro moments to help address that. Okay. My challenge is getting people onto our individual list. Donors are mostly corporate, and I'd like to get individuals and their colleagues on our list. Yes, me too for you, Barbara. Our users and teachers and school boards our users are teachers and school boards, and we can't fundraise from them directly. We need to find a way to get them personally engaged and sign up on our list. Okay. So we have an easy emails for impact. We do have a lead magnet training, which is basically a lead magnet is surprise. I gave you one on here. My 10 email subject lines. That's a lead magnet. It's where I'm giving you something for free. in exchange for your email address. So nonprofits, this is another blue ocean opportunity, absolutely can and should have a lead magnet. So we go through, we do have a training inside Easy Emails about that. That's something potentially is like, what would be a reason why your ideal person, teachers and school boards, would opt in? What would they, is there a list, a resource, something, a video training that would be helpful for them they would give in exchange for your email address? That's what I would look at as a lead magnet. Um, should you personalize emails, your emails, should your personalized emails maintain your brand voice or feel more like the specific sender? We tend to have consistent taglines sprinkled in, but is it bad? Is that bad when it's trying to? Okay. So I personally prefer personalized emails. There's an organization in Phoenix, and I know exactly, I'm on their email list. And when their ED sends an email, it's written in her voice. But when their programs person sends an email, I'm excited because it's just like she's just she writes like she would talk to you if we were having coffee. And so she's like, she's sassy, she's her, it's very unique. Now, both emails are still within the umbrella brand, right? They're still within the umbrella brand. And so I don't think it's wrong if you have a couple of taglines that are unique to your organization that are like, we stand for this. I don't think it's wrong if you weave those in to some of your emails. But I do want your personality to shine. So if you wouldn't say a certain buzzword or phrase that your ED would say, don't say it in your emails. Like say what you would say instead. Okay. Did I get to everything? Hang on. What is the best subject line and frequency to use when trying to invite corporations to sponsor an event? So I actually, I would grab the email list and go through that, but you want a reason. Would you open it? That's the thing you're trying to get over. So you want to make sure that your subject line is curious enough or is informational enough that they would want to click open. All right. I think I got through most of the questions. I know we're like top of the hour. How's everyone feeling?
Yeah, this has been fantastic. We are a couple minutes over, so sorry to
Yeah.
cut you all short on the Q&A, but we do have our next speaker lined up. So yeah, I want to thank you so much, Christina, for everything. I think our audience has received a lot of great advice and tips and really got a lot out of the session. So everyone, please give Christina some love in the chat. And I think I have your link here that you wanted to
Just
provide.
put it in.
Let
Yeah.
me paste it in there real quick.
Thank you guys so much. And just reach out if you have any more email questions. I know I didn't get to all of them. Just send me a message on Instagram or LinkedIn.
All
Yeah.
right.
Thank you guys. Thanks for
All
having
right.
me.